What's going on YouTube? Kamikazevondoom here with another Division 2 PTS video. Now shout out to the DoD Disciples of Doom. In today's Division 2 PTS video, I'm going to talk about why the console community is pissed. I keep seeing in every single one of these PTS videos how people from the PlayStation and Xbox community are confused, upset, and just, feeling left out that, the PC community gets to run the PTS while they're just sitting back and having to watch other people play it. I completely understand, and back in Division 1, they actually had one PTS. I'm pretty sure that was on all platforms, but for years now it has been only a PC thing. And the developers have actually written an article about this to explain why, and other developers have added more to the story and the context. That way you guys can understand from their point of view why the PTS is only on PC. So if that sounds interesting, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comment section below what you think. But we're going to jump over to Twitter. We're going to see what Ubisoft said, and then we are going to see what the developers have said over the weekend, adding to this to get you to better understand it. So here we go. Let's jump over to Twitter already. And now we are on Twitter. Remember, follow me at Kamikazevondoom, where I retweet and discuss all of the latest news within anything surrounding the Division universe. But this is where it all started. The origin of this conversation or this discussion video is April 15th. The Division came out publicly and gave us this. It says, "We've seen a number of players on console recently express disappointment in being unable to participate in the PTS. We'd like to take a moment to share some insights into why the PTS is running exclusively on PC." And that's what a lot of console people are upset about and also confused about, is all of these videos that I'm giving you guys about the PTS, they are from the PC public test server. They are not from the actual full game. So a lot of people on PlayStation and Xbox have been commenting in my videos saying, when does this go live on PlayStation? How can I do this on Xbox? I don't see this on my console. How are you doing this? And it's because I am in the PTS. I am in the public test server on PC. And they're about to explain why it is only on PC. So here we go. Now, this is taking us to the discussion forums in Ubisoft.com. And this is posted by a regular community manager for Ubisoft, UB Jurassic. And let's see what it says. It is titled, "Why PTS is Running on PC Only." All right, so here we go. It says, "Hello. We've seen a lot of questions from console players asking why they are unable to partake in the PTS. So we wanted to share our insights into the reasons we have chosen to run the test exclusively on PC. We are very grateful for the persistent interest in our console communities have shown, and we want to know that the decision is based a lot on factors and has nothing to do with prioritizing one platform over another, where a lot of people on console are upset saying, you guys only do this for the PC, you only care about the PC people, and they're saying right here that that is not true, that there are other factors at play here, and that they want to explain that way the console communities aren't as upset as they currently are." Okay, so the first bullet point is console certification process. To deploy updates on console, we need to go through a process called certification. Certification is when an update is thoroughly tested and must match a list of requirements to guarantee a high-quality gameplay experience. This, of course, takes time to ensure that the PTS fits all other requirements. Due to the nature of the PTS, updates deployed can be partially unstable or do not represent the overall quality of the game. Now, this is a very important sentence. So let me say that one again. Due to the nature of the PTS being a public test server where they're testing and constantly trying to adjust and tweak things, updates deployed can partially be unstable or do not represent the overall quality of the game. Where you would see we had like a lot of deltas, or we had like a lot of gear that had placeholder logos, or the targeted loot logo doesn't match the brand set, or the named weapon doesn't have the correct, whatever it is. This is what they're trying to explain, that these are public test servers, and what they are doing is they are trying to tweak this update to where it's at a good, finely tuned point to distribute it to the masses. And then it says this might add time to the overall certification process, eventually slowing down bug fixing and the implementation of community requested features. So what they're saying right here is that the consoles, being Microsoft and Sony, they want it to be guaranteed high quality gameplay experience for their audience, being Xbox players or PlayStation players, what have you. And what the devs are saying right here is during a public test server, they don't always meet those requirements. And during a public test server, they want to do updates where you can see, like during this PTS, for example, we have 3 different phases. We had phase 1, we're currently in phase 2, and then we're going to have phase 3 of the PTS where they are finely tuning all of these, different parts of the update. That way, when it gets ready, they can go to each of the consoles and say, everything's done, it's great, high quality, we promise. And then the Xbox and PlayStation people go, yep, okay, you're good. And then they release the update to the masses. What they're saying here is that the PTS doesn't always meet those requirements because they are still trying to test their game, their update. And because of that, they are constantly having to update it. They're going through these different phases. And when they go through these different phases, they would have to then go through that process again through Sony and Microsoft and get it all approved before they could even do the next phase. So to make it easier and faster for everybody, they just do it on PC, where yes, it might not be reliable, it might not be stable, there might be some issues, but it's because they are trying to test and tweak certain things. That way, when they add it to the full game, everybody enjoys it at the same, rate. So that's for the console. Now, the next one is quick updates. Since PC builds do not have to go through the certification process, this allows us to react to the community feedback swiftly and deploy updates faster and more efficiently. Unfortunately, on console, this would take twice the amount of time to release a PTS update as regularly and quickly as we do on PC. That's basically exactly what I was just saying. That every time they do one of these phases or updates to the PTS, they would have to then go to each of these companies, being Sony and Microsoft, and get them to approve it before they could even distribute it. Next section says selection criteria. A PC PTS does not meet any approval processes. Every player who owns the Division 2 on Ubisoft Connect can simply download the PC or the PTS client and take part in testing. So for anybody that has this game on their Ubisoft Connect, they can play the PTS for free. If you remember my video from yesterday, I showed you that no matter what level you are, during the PTS, you can get every piece of gear and every weapon for free. You just sign into the PTS, and they give you all of it. And they give you all of the materials to recalibrate and optimize and do whatever it is you want during this PTS. So even if you have like an extra $20 lying around, you could buy the Division 2 on Ubisoft Connect right now and play the PTS while it's still going, and you don't have to level up a PC character. It just gives it all to you right then and there, and you can test it out without having to do anything. Pretty cool. Now, let's see here. All right, so then it says console testing requires a selection procedure, which would limit the availability of the PTS to a wider audience, permitting and prohibiting player access to an application based on a certain set of criteria has a potential to cause disappointment if you were rejected. Meaning they're not going to have enough space to have everyone on the PTS at the exact same time. They would have to limit it if they had such a wide audience. But because they're sitting on PC, it's a lot easier to contain the capacity. Next up, and this is final, so this is the last part of it. It says PC and console differences. The existing disparity between the console and PC builds can usually create misunderstanding between players. As a result, this can cause a lot of controversy in feedback and sentiment alike, resulting in the team requiring additional time to process community feedback. Lastly, it would be remiss of us if we did not briefly talk about the one and only PTS we had on console for the Division 1. And this is what I was saying in the very beginning of the video. They did one PTS on console, and I was a part of it, and I loved it. But then they never did it again. And it says here, during that PTS, the one that they're saying on console, we found that console player-specific feedback was fairly limited. In addition to this, what feedback that was provided closely mirrored the feedback that was given to us from the people on PC. With this in mind, the results we found from the testing period on console fell below expectations, basically saying that whenever they did a PTS on console, they did not have enough player engagement on those platforms, and they did not have enough people giving them feedback from those consoles to make it worth it. So it's more worth it in their eyes to just keep it on PC, don't jump through the hoops of Microsoft and Sony. That way they can get the feedback they need in a timely fashion, updated in a timely fashion, and get this update to everyone in a timely fashion. So this is showing why PC only PTS is basically the way to go for them personally, because that one PTS fell below their expectations. I personally would say to do a console PTS again, because it's been years since they did that one for the Division 1. So I think the next PTS they should do, have it on console as well, and give the community a chance to meet your expectations. That's my 2 cents. And then it says, we hope that this explains our decision to run the PTS on PC only. We cannot currently make any promises about changing the process in the future, but we sincerely thank everyone participating in the PTS right now. We look forward to hearing about all of your feedback as Phase 2 begins. And of course, we're already in Phase 2. All right. So now we are back on Twitter, and I told you we should talk about what the developers have said because a few of them have added to this conversation, and I did retweet it. So let's see what they had to say. Now the first person to say something right here, Paul A. I'm sure I'm butchering your name, man. I'm really sorry. But he said, to add to this, I want to emphasize that every PTS is handled differently based on what information it is gathering and when the devs need to apply that information. Meaning, for this PTS, it was specific that the very first phase, they wanted as much feedback as they could from Countdown and the expertise leveling system. And for Phase 2, they directly changed and tweaked both of those things in a positive manner. They tweaked the expertise levels to where it's a little bit harder to become proficient, but once you are, they made it a little bit easier to upgrade your items. And then for Countdown, they changed the NPC HP value and made it actually more of a challenging and fun experience. I completely agree with this. Let's see if there's anything else people wanted to say. He added and said, if we were testing visual performance and FPS, we would need to test it across all platforms because the feedback would be different based on each platform. But it would probably be a single PTS because the work based on learnings would take weeks to apply. And then he continues again. Game balancing feedback can be applied and retested fast, hence multiple PTS over a short amount of time, which cannot be done if we include console. And he's just basically doubling back to how they can do different updates to the PTS and give us different phases of the PTS on PC. But because of console and all the hoops they have to jump through, it would take twice the amount of time to get the approval for console. So that would just make the PTS process even longer. And I believe, we have a few more. This PTS is for testing the balancing of new gear and weapons and the difficulty of the new game mode, applying changes based on feedback and retesting fast so we can launch it soon. They want to launch it soon. This is good. The next one, it says on PC we can run 3 PTS over 3 to 4 weeks, which we are already on the second PTS phase 2. Adding console would stretch it to over 2 months, but console players aren't likely to give us any different feedback on balancing, so it's more time for the same amount of information. Understandable. They're trying to figure out, let's go back. They're trying to figure out, what the problems are, balancing issues, what have you, and they're getting the same feedback, so why not just, stick with PC, make everything faster. And remember, I'm a console guy. I love my Xbox. But I do understand from a development point of view why this would happen. And this helps out the community in the end because it's all faster. And then finally, the last one came yesterday from Frederick Thylander. He was a previous developer on the Division and Division 2, but now he's moved on to a different project. And he says, finally, an official, thing about the console and console versus PC. I've been trying to explain this to and fro for years, but here it is spelled out. So he's basically doubling back to when we actually did that console PTS, and he went on State of the Game and explained that, the PTS is going to be on PC now only because of the lack of feedback and, the console testing fell below their expectations. So this is all just trying to get everyone on the same page and understanding on why the PTS is on PC only. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it helpful and informative. If so, make sure you hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and don't forget to watch the new Thor trailer that just came out. Like, this thing's insane. It just came out. So check it out. And while you're at it, hit that like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. I am Kamikazevondoom, and I will see you all in the next one.